And here we are, episode 9, staycurious.org, starting off 2021 with a big bang with Mr. Gnome. Thank you again to the Gnomes, House of Circles, off an album a few years ago called Madness in Miniature. Definitely check that shit out for 2021. They are definitely going to help you get through this weird, bizarre year that we're starting. It's kind of like a part 2 of 2020, I guess. Maybe, hopefully not. But here we are, episode 9, staycurious.org. I'm the man on the mic, Heike, and welcome. Happy fucking New Year to you, you lovely, lovely human tube with teeth listening. I hope that you had a great holiday, enjoyed it with your family, friends, loved ones, if you could, or you just made it through the holiday. I know it's a difficult time for a lot of people to get through. Families can be tough, especially with this year. A COVID Christmas, if you will, was kind of what everyone was going through, and hopefully you made it through calm. You found your zen, little drips of zen, if you will, made it through, and starting off 2021 not hungover and with a clear mindset and ready to get this get 2021 underway. We got probably 95% of the people out here, including myself, going through some sort of New Year's resolutions, finding some mantras, and trying to do with a better new year, new me, which is great. Anything that kind of encourages growth and learning and bettering yourself is really, really what life should be about. And I know this is from personal experience from working in fitness centers and in other areas of kind of lifestyle, health and whatnot, that everybody's on this new year, new me kick. Find your passions, they say, as if it were that fucking easy. And that's going to really be what today's episode is about passion and finding the right mindset to kind of move forward with that. So we're going to piggyback everybody's kind of personal growth moments that we're having right now. But first, wanted to give thanks for everybody that contributed during the holidays. Got a bunch of emails, a handful of orders for some new merch that we have on our website, bands and vinyl decals, and that is really, really how this project is going to continue to move forward, is, funding by you and a grassroots organization of personal development and lifestyle living, I guess. Like we said before, it's kind of going to be like Live Strong, but instead of cancer research and supporting those affected by research, we are going to focus on your education, finding ways that we can help you and ultimately cure your boredom. In a lighthearted way, we want to cure your boredom and inspire autodactism and self-directed learning. We will have some other tools and resources coming up moving forward, and we will add them to the website as we go along. But like everything and what your education is, it's a work in progress. So be patient. Be very patient. And if you can't be patient, drop us a fucking email. We will answer. There's humans behind the scenes here, so no automated responses. So drop an email, ask a question, tell us how your holiday was. And more importantly, kind of get out there and help fund this project. We would truly appreciate it. We got decals you can slap on your car, slap on your books, slap on your ass. I don't give a shit where you put it. Just get a decal. They're nice. They're vinyl. You can put them in a dishwasher, and they'll make it through. And let's see where else. Any other news for the holiday? Got some interesting books for the holiday. One of the interesting books that I got was a book called Ishmael, and a dear friend of mine gave it to me. And so far so good. We've kind of gone through and kind of talked about it, read it. It's one of her favorite books, and I guess it's a novel that covers the hidden cultural biases dividing modern civilization and explores theories of ethics, sustainability, and global catastrophe. I believe that's the book. That's what I just read here on Wikipedia. So, yeah, it looks like it's the same book by Daniel Quinn. And I'll double check my homework on that and get back to that. But moving forward, episode 9, here we go. Passion. Let's see. How many of you have heard the New Year, New Me quote? You get on the social medias, the Instagrams, and it's a hashtag fucking frenzy of this new development, and I'm guessing most people are staying strong, at least mentally, with this, finding their passions, if you will. You're going to see that trending. I Googled it, and it's like, 23 billion people are having finding your passion as a, kind of theme, if you will. And, this mantra is so commonly advised by graduation speakers, influencers, and other self-made successes, but yet it undermines truly how passions actually develop. This adage carries hidden implications by, compared to a lot of other of these simple Instagram quotes, if you will. It implies once an interest resonates with you, pursuing it will be easy. But time and time again, this type of mindset, aka a fixed mindset, makes it more likely that people will surrender their newfound interest once they encounter an inevitable change and setback. And as if, just by looking around the place, you might stumble into what you love, a glimmering spark hidden, a synchronicity, if you will, not poo-pooing, that type of lifestyle or education or information out there. But, you might stumble across something just out of sight until that very moment. And unfortunately, the research is just proven time and time again that it doesn't work this way. And while people might mean well when they have to tell you, find your passion, this advice isn't just cliche. But again, research is just showing you it's shit advice. It's bad advice. And here's why. Because most people believe that the notion that passion is something that's fixed. It's i.e., performed or preformed and perfectly complete. This type of thinking can hinder one's ability to nurture their own budding interests into full-fledged passions. The message to find your passion is generally offered with good intentions, to convey, don't worry so much about talent. Do not bow to the pressure of status or money. Just find what is meaningful and interesting to you. Unfortunately, this belief system that this message may be giving rise to can undermine the very development of people's interests. I recently read a study from Stanford University a few years ago, and it conducted a series of experiments with students to examine the extent to which personal interests are fixed or developed. This is going back into fixed theory or growth theory. And, I know there's, in a little bit of research, there are many, many different types of learning theories out there. And maybe that's a podcast that we can do in the future with the various types. But for the purpose of this New Year, New Me, Find Your Passion podcast, we're going to stick to two main theories here. And the first one is fixed theory. Fixed theory, for those who don't know, are individuals with a fixed mindset. Case, that's pretty simple. But these people believe that their qualities, such as intelligence and other personality traits, are set in stone. This is how God or little baby Buddha or Ganesh, whoever you bow down and pray or believe into, these deities kind of made you basically who you are. One's traits are fixed and not something that can be practiced or developed. Individuals with a fixed mindset tend to be interested only in feedback on their success in activities to the degree that it serves to evaluate their underlying ability. They are not using the feedback to learn. Since they do not believe that their success depends on the effort to learn, rather they believe that the success depends on the level of innate ability they have. Therefore, they dread failure because it suggests constraints or limits and they will not be able to overcome. The second theory here, mindset theory, is the growth theory. Individuals with a growth mindset, on the other hand, believe that effort or training can change one's qualities or traits. A growth mindset, on the other hand, attributes success to learning. Therefore, the individual not terrified of failure, not afraid to face challenges, and can just move forward knowing that development is going to happen, because this type of conflict in yourself, it allows you to pay attention. It forces you and signals you to pay attention, to invest effort, to apply time and practice and master the new learning opportunity. They see it as an opportunity to grow, They are confident after such effort that they will be able to learn the skill or knowledge and then to improve their performance. In one experiment in this Stanford study, students were categorized according to their interest, either as being into STEM topics or into arts and humanities. And it was an interesting read because the initial findings found that the more students subscribed to a fixed view of their existing interest, the less they were able to enjoy reading an article from outside their interests. In one experiment, research asked students' interest, showing them engaging video about black holes and the origin of the universe, which most students were fascinated. I mean, including myself. You show me a video about a black hole or aliens or the universe, and I mean that's not my wheelhouse. By damn it, I will sit down and drop what I'm doing and just get sucked in to it and continue to go down those rabbit holes. But then after reading a challenging scientific article about the same topics, these same students' excitement like dissipated within minutes. I mean, it was insane. How commonly that happens when you got a certain presentation of information and it's in your wheelhouse, in your learning theory, your learning style, and next thing you know, you see an abstract or a white paper or some technical research, and it's like, holy shit, that was boring, and I think I'm just going to go rather watch paint dry. I've done that professionally. I've done that personally, and it's a bear. It's unfortunate, but moving right along. The outcome of this initial findings are that peoples with growth theory are more successful in the long run. However, but after reading the challenging article, these challenging scientific articles on the same topics, their excitement not only waned, but the students themselves were just over it. Researchers found that the drop was the greatest for students with fixed mindsets about their interests. In terms of education and bettering yourself in an interdisciplinary world, the benefits of a growth mindset totally outweigh the alternative of a fixed mindset. Many advances in sciences and businesses happen when people bring different fields together, when people see novel connections between fields that maybe hadn't been seen before. And this type of kind of blended view perspective is kind of where Da Vinci comes in. And that's an episode that we did back in last year. Episode 001 was about Da Vinci and his endless curiosity. I mean, he was notorious for seeing things as one, as multiple disciplines overlapping. He kind of didn't see things in the compartmentalized view of science and math and reading and physics and whatnot. And that type of blending view and seeing things as one really does kind of open up your mind. So again, out there, if you want to kind of get some basics about how to develop this stuff, develop your passions, please check out episode 1. If not, then who cares? You'll find out on your own at your own pace how open-minded you are. Let's see, what else do we have here? If you are overly narrow and committed to one area, and you're just having this fixed mindset, this could prevent you from developing interests and expertise that you need to do that bridging work in order to get to the next level. And this is something personally that I'm slowly getting better at with the StayCurious.org project. It was very challenging to me to find out domain registration, web hosting registration, podcast hosting, an e-commerce store, stitching up the back end, and making a visually pleasant website. All of this stuff over the last few years has kind of been a part-time project, but over the last few months with the COVID, with being at home more and seeing this education industry kind of crumble within itself, it's really inspired me to do more and produce more for the listener, for those who can't afford to go to school, kind of be a billboard, if you will, or a tool, a brand ultimately to help you kind of self-educate. And this open mindset of asking better questions and seeing where I can better the brand, if you will, this project has really helped me get to the next level of really seeing how much work I need to put in for planning purposes and moving forward. And that's just a personal experience. And I'm not poo-pooing a fixed learning theory. I'm not poo-pooing on anybody that is kind of school-oriented and scholastically oriented. This is not anti-school, anti-education. This is just a different version of maybe perhaps more inspirational, hopefully, considering a lot of us are at home looking for a fun, kind of passionate teacher, mentor brand, if you will, to kind of keep us going and not just consume it, but just and push you to get going. But in closing with this research that Stanford did, according to the researches, by holding to growth theory and being able to open to the idea that your interests can be nurtured, it gives people the ability to anticipate pursuing their interests will sometimes be challenging, enabling the ability to maintain interest in something new, even when it becomes difficult or challenging to do so. And in conclusion, to wrap up this episode, to make it short and sweet and help you get on to your merry, merry, merry January, because of these findings, instead of telling people to find their passion, tell them to develop their passion, not to just find them. Even though they're only words, this difference in words, in these two words, it's an important difference in meaning because it's something that is an active process, not just passive. Telling people to find their passion could suggest that it's within you, just waiting to be revealed. And unfortunately, that's not the case. It might be a seed, but that seed needs to be watered. It needs to be developed. You need to have people to work with and find the right resources. Telling people to follow their passion suggests that passion will do the lion's share of the work for you. And again, this is not the case. This is time and time again. It is not the case. And unfortunately, this is ultimately bad news, is to say, find your passion. I've been guilty of that. I've told people that. I've been told that. And it's very frustrating to have this idea of, yeah, I can go find it. Like I'm going to get it at the store, or I'm going to walk into something and it's something tangible. If you look at the basic definition of what to develop is, it's to expand or enlarge. And that's it. I mean, take your passion, expand it, enlarge it, ask better questions. Don't look for answers. Collect questions versus answers with your passion, and you'll get on to a merry, merry, merry experience with finding out what your cause is, what your right self is, if you will. And if you look at something and think that's interesting, that could be an area I could make a contribution in, you're invested in yourself. You invest yourself in it. Give completely to it, not just a week, not a few days, but months. I understand we all are at home. A lot of us are. Time is the commodity now, and your attention is needed to develop these passions. But if you take some time to do it, you're going to encounter challenges, and over time, you build to that commitment, and you can take these challenges and grow from them. So other than that, I mean, I think that's about it for this podcast. It was hopefully enjoyable for you to listen to. We may or may not get another one done today. But again, thank you for everybody listening so far. We've gotten up to quite a decent number of podcasts being downloaded. We are on Pandora Podcast now. We are on iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Spotify Podcast, Apple Podcast, and we're still waiting on Amazon. So apparently I got to get on the phone with Jeff Bezos and see what the hell the deal is, because, I mean, we submitted the application, and, typically when I order Amazon, it's here within 12 minutes of pressing deliver. A drone is just dropping it by, but apparently getting a submission for a fucking podcast to the company is a little bit more challenging, and we're gonna attack their secretary help and see what the hell's going on there. But other than that, we are on all the basic information is at staycurious.org. Please listen to it. Share it with your friends, family, and kids. One of the best emails that I received over the break was, a guy named Martin ordered some material, some bands and some decals, and this was the quintessential story that I've gotten. And I want to give thanks to Martin. If you're listening, your email was enjoyable to read. But Martin was he's a parent. He's at home and he has a couple younger kids, and he's looking at their education. He's looking at how they operate, and let me just read it to you if you don't mind. Hopefully, Martin, you're gonna allow me to do this. You don't sue me for copyright or trademark any of that stuff. But, this is from Martin Tobias. He says, well, first of all, I had to email, say thank you for your order because you're going to get a personal email from yours truly. And then Martin responds back. He's like, I spend a lot of time thinking about decision processes and how to make better decisions. One key I have found is to stay curious. The other day, I Googled that and your site showed up. I also have 2 young children, and one problem with traditional education is that they focus on getting the right answers on a test instead of getting the underlying curiosity, which tends to be to beat creativity out of children in a favor of specialization. I hope to avoid that in my children, so I bought them your bracelets and some stickers. Keep up the good work, Martin. And that was like, I read that, and that came on this morning, and it really just made me feel amazing. It was a personal kind of highlight of the day. It proves to me that this passion that I'm developing, I'm kind of stepping into the right direction. There has been a ton of support with other people supporting, emailing, DMing, contacting me, and again, it truly is special and heartwarming to see. And that's really what I want. I'm not a professional educator. I'm a project manager by trade and just focused on developing myself and trying to kind of develop a community, a tribe of people to kind of focus and help share these similar stories. So again, thank you to Martin. Thank you to anybody listening, everybody listening. And this is episode 9, wrapped up, done. Happy New Year to you lovely people. And we'll be back shortly. Take care.